Perhaps in the years past you owned a Mr. Coffee, but then you moved up to a Keurig, which was really very nice. But then you walk through the store and you see this new Nespresso machine, which you have to have because marketing works that way. It creates this desire. Human needs are insatiable. So you buy the Nespresso machine and you're driving away saying, I don't even like espresso. I don't know how to make a cappuccino. I'm going to need an engineer to work this machine. Marketers call that cognitive dissonance, that you have regrets over your purchase. When it comes to charity, like the widows giving the mite, giving the last they have of flour and oil, there's no cognitive dissonance. I shouldn't have given that money to the poor person. I shouldn't have been so charitable. I shouldn't have helped. We don't have that. But if we stop before we're charitable, we have to ask ourselves, are we being stingy? Are we not being generous? What do we do with the gifts that we have? In a recent survey taken in the parish, the number one desire of parishioners in this parish is to grow closer to God. So the focus of this homily is not coffee machines, but rather, how do we grow closer to God? To discover the truth of the Gospels, you have to live the truth of the Gospels. What you hear from Scripture, try out in your life. That's how you grow closer to God. We can't be a spectator and say, oh, look at that, isn't that nice, isn't that admirable? I'm no saint, my statue's not up there. Not yet. You still have a chance. You could be there. How do you do it? The Church gives us a shorthand. How to live out the gospel. Corporal works, things you get up and do, and spiritual works, things you sit and meditate on. And we're all really called to be contemplatives in action, meaning don't just ready, shoot, aim, but rather ready, focus in, and then act. You're a moral actor in your life. You have control over what you do. And you're not responsible for it. You're coerced to do. But you want to discover the truth of the Gospels. And so you say, all right, if the Church says, because what we distilled from the Gospels, feed the hungry, how do I do that? There's a big truck out front. Fill it up with food. And I would suggest is that the cans that are bulging and have botulism, don't give those cans. That's not charity. That's called filling the landfill, all right? Don't give junk. Give what matters to you. Give what you would enjoy. If you don't say, oh, look, beets, really, that's not charity. That's unloading stuff. Give drink to the thirsty. When people come to the rectory, I notice a lot of rectories. I went to do a wedding up in Boston, and I came and I rang the doorbell, and it was like a movie. It was like going bells of St. Mary's going my way. And I said, hi, I'm here to do the wedding. And I could see the pastor eating, and the housekeeper says, Father's busy. I said, oh, yeah? So I drove 2 hours. I'm here. You can go wait at that door by the church. Thanks for your hospitality. It was 110 degrees. I was thirsty, and they didn't give me anything. So they missed the point. So when you come to our rectory, we've got water. Pallets and pallets of water. I used to give coffee, but then I noticed that there was coffee all through the rectory all the way around, so it's safer. Clothe the naked. You give tons of clothes. If you come Monday morning for St. Vincent de Paul, they sort through all the clothes, especially baby clothes. And it's really funny because there's a whole group of people that get together, and all you hear all morning long is, aw, aw, aw. I didn't know what a onesie was. We've got onesies everywhere. Visit the sick. My voice is kind of gone. This past week I got very, very sick, so I called up the neighboring pastor. I said to him, Father Tiano, this is Father Dolan, please, you have to do this for me. Okay, I'll be happy to do it. So he comes in, he did a wedding rehearsal for me, which I'd love to see the video of that. Visit the sick. Some people hate to see the sick. They don't want to. They want to catch anything. They go in. I know many people that oh, you're sick? Oh, I'll see you in July. You know, I want to respect, I want to give you your rest. Go in. Some people don't visit the sick well. They make themselves sick. you visit them, and next week you visit them in the next bed. That you don't make yourself sick. It's kind of like generosity. You don't make yourself poor, but you share from your riches. You have to save for your retirement. It's true. You don't make yourself destitute. But how can you help? The Scripture says, give 10% to charity. I was looking up how much I made the other day, and said, geez, how much do I make? How much do I give? I'm not good with percentages, but I know it's not 10%. I think it's approaching 1. And it's killing me. Why? Because I don't have a generosity of spirit. But then I try and I do this and I do that. Ransom the captive. How do we do that? We're not freeing hostages. Maybe some of you are, I don't know. But think about the people that are bound by certain addictions. Every Friday night in the rectory basement, we have a meeting for Alcoholics Anonymous. And you, in your generosity, providing for the heat, light, and everything, they're over there trying to maintain their sobriety. And so you're having a hand in ransoming the captive, those captive to addictions. Pray for them, for their sobriety. Bury the dead. To bury the dead, to go to the wake. Some people find it very disturbing. It's difficult, but you come out in droves, and you're wonderful to people that have had experienced that terrible loss in their lives. The bereavement committee here goes and sits for hours with people planning funerals. It's wonderful. But say, for instance, it's hard to do. It's very hard to motivate yourself to get up and do those good things. You have to see good examples first. So try the other option, a spiritual work of mercy. You can do this from the ease of your lazy boy recliner. Pray for the living and the dead. It's the month of the holy souls in purgatory. Bear wrongs patiently, which is very difficult. You could do what I do and rant and rave and scream around the rectory. I don't do that. I try not to. Forgive offenses willingly. I don't know how to do that. If you tell me, I'm willing to learn. It's very difficult, but it comes in prayer. It comes in discovering the truth of the gospel by living it out. See how different your life is by letting go of hurts. This past week, we went to a convocation of priests, 250 priests. There's about 100 active or so, something like that. And I saw lots of priests that I loved. I saw lots of priests I don't know who they are. And I saw a couple of priests. What can you do? One guy got really mad at me and started screaming at me and said, "You're a has-been, you're a has-been." I said, "It's so nice to see you." I could come back. I mean, I am Irish. I can be quick-witted, but that's not the thing to do. Gospel values tells me, pray for him. The issue is his. And I'm not a has-been, by the way. I've got a huge ego. Counsel the doubtful. We've all been in situations where we say, I don't know. This is so difficult. I don't know. Faith gets weak. Comfort them, listen to them, and bring them close to you. Give them the gift of your own strength in faith and in confidence. Admonish sinners. Don't get up in the pulpit and scream at people. I was in Ireland one time for a family wedding. Great potatoes, by the way. And this guy got up, this young priest, and he had a copy of the catechism, and he kept waving it around in the air. And he says, everyone thinks they're going to heaven, but it's just not so. Oh, this is really good. Terrible, terrible. Admonish sinners is the better way. Propose something more attractive. Propose a way to flourish. Propose something wonderful and exciting. You know, when I babysit my nephews, I'll say to them, come on, Christopher, put down the can of gasoline and the match, and let's play with the Legos. That's admonishing a sinner. Invite them to something that they're really going to like. Comfort the afflicted. When someone at work has really been beaten up or given too much work to do, lend a hand. Tell them you understand. When the boss really goes off on someone, bring them aside. Give them a pep talk. To discover the truth of the Gospels, you have to live it out. So choose one thing this week to do, and do it. Even when you're sick and in bed, you can do something. And it's probably more useful to sit and pray and reflect on the reality of your lives and the gifts you've been given. Performing gospel values and doing it, you discover the brilliance of the teaching of the Lord. Not that he's the smartest person ever. No, there's a radical love that Jesus brings, that in generosity, we discover it's not money that's the problem, it's the love of money. We're supposed to love people, and money is a tool. What do we do with that tool? Yes, we provide for family and friends and things that matter to us in a particular way. Love is supposed to be other-centered, not self-centered. So look outside yourself and remember, you'll do this, and you won't be driving away saying, oh, I shouldn't have loved. That was a mistake. No. In prayer and in action, discover the wonders of the gospel, and you'll grow closer to the Lord.